Never underestimate someone's capabilities only by score. Anirudh was not a topper. He was not the kind of student teachers proudly showed as an example in class. He was just average, quiet, trying his best. In every exam, he managed somehow, sometimes passing, sometimes struggling. And because he didn't shine like others, people slowly started believing he would never shine at all. The day that broke him. One day, the school had an important exam. Anirudh studied, but his mind was filled with fear. When the results came, his marks were poor. That day, the teacher started distributing the answer sheets in front of everyone. Students were smiling, comparing marks, laughing softly. Anirudh sat silently, his heart beating fast, already knowing what would happen. Finally, his name was called. He stood up and walked slowly, feeling everyone's eyes on him. The teacher looked at his paper, then smiled, not a kind smile, a mocking smile. And in front of the whole class, she said, "Why are you even coming to school? You'll easily get a job in a fuel station." The class laughed. Some laughed loudly, some laughed quietly. Some didn't laugh, but they still watched like it was entertainment. But for Anirudh, that moment felt like the world stopped. He held the paper in his hand, but his fingers were shaking. He wanted to speak. He wanted to say something, but his throat felt tight. He walked back to his seat, sat down, and stared at the marks. But the marks were not hurting him anymore. Her words were. That night, he cried silently. Not because he scored low, but because someone made him feel like he was nothing. A silent decision. From that day, he changed. Not loudly, not dramatically. He didn't fight, he didn't complain. He didn't try to prove anything to the class. He simply made one decision inside his heart. I will not stay like this forever. He started studying every day, slowly, consistently. When he didn't understand something, he tried again. When he failed, he didn't stop. When people doubted him, he kept quiet. Because he was no longer studying only for marks. He was studying for his self-respect. Months passed, and in the final exam, something changed. Anirudh didn't become the first rank holder, but he scored better, much better. For the first time, he smiled at his own report card. Not because it was perfect, but because it proved one thing: he can improve. The rise nobody expected. He joined higher studies. There also, he was not the smartest one, but he was the most consistent one. He worked hard. He stayed focused. He built skills. Step by step, he reached a place nobody imagined he could reach. After completing his studies, he got a job in a good company. Not a small job, a respectable job. And years later, he became a manager. He had a stable life, confidence, and most importantly, peace. That one sentence from the teacher still stayed inside him like a scar, but now it reminded him of how far he had come. The unexpected meeting. One day, in a professional event, Anirudh saw a familiar face. It was his teacher. Time had changed her. She looked older now, but her expression remained the same. When she recognized him, she smiled slightly and asked in the same tone, "Oh, Anirudh? What are you doing now?" The words were polite, but the mocking feeling behind them was not hidden. Anirudh looked at her calmly. No anger, no ego. He simply said, "I'm a manager in this company." The teacher's face changed a little. Then he added softly, "And your son is working in my company." That was it. No insult, no revenge, no shouting, just truth. Her smile faded instantly. Her eyes dropped. Her lips trembled like she wanted to say something, but no words came out. Because she realized something that hit harder than any punishment. The student she once humiliated became a leader. Anirudh watched her silence, and in that silence, he understood something deeply. Sometimes people don't feel ashamed when they hurt you. They feel ashamed only when you rise above the pain they gave you. A powerful lesson. Anirudh walked away that day with his head high, not because he defeated her, but because he defeated the version of himself that believed her words. He proved something important to the world. Marks can measure memory. They can measure speed. They can measure one kind of intelligence, but they can never measure determination, character, consistency, growth, potential, the fire inside a person.